So I don't know that a final order is gonna be the best thing in this matter. So I'm fine with doing a further temporary order. And I think that's going to be Ms. Farrer's request, and I have no objection to it. I'm requesting that the court order some child support in this case. The testimony, I believe, will be now that both of the children are living with the mother. And also ask the court to make a ruling as far as cash medical. I believe the testimony previously was that Mr. Flores had the children on his grant, although I think Ms. Cantu is going to testify that she's applied for health coverage, governmental health coverage under her name. So I don't know if that changes the analysis. I believe there will also be some, and then I could see the court, using various numbers in this matter. I believe Mr. Flores will tell the court that he was working as a machinist until it's not entirely clear, but until recently, he was making 19 an hour. And then I think there's also going to be some, but I don't think it was a full 40 hours a week. And then I think there's also going to be some testimony that he does food delivery with DoorDash and Grubhub. So I'm asking the court to order child support. I guess after the testimony, I'll have an argument as to what that should be. But I believe that Ms. Cantu will testify that she's not making ends meet, that she was looking at applying for government services and other assistance, and so I'm asking for child support to get set up for those reasons.
All right, and Ms. Farrer, you're the headliner for the children, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, I'd like that an opening statement at this time. What are you requesting in behalf of your clients, ma'am?
Your Honor, I believe the evidence is going to show that the children have been visiting with Dad every weekend or thereabouts. So I am requesting a temporary order to that effect. I did visit with the older of the two children. I did a home visit with her yesterday. The younger child, she's very young. And so I saw her and I saw mother's home, but I didn't interview her or anything because of her age. And so my understanding is that the parties are in agreement for father to have visitation with the children every Thursday night till Saturday at noon. And just on a temporary basis until we can come back on a final hearing. At the time of the temporary order, or the agreement that we reached in February, the father was living in West Texas in Brownfield with the older of the two children. Thereafter, he did relocate to Bell County. The younger of the two children at the time of the last temporary order was living here in Bell County, and now both of the children are living with her.
All right, thank you very much. All right, folks, I don't let lay people make opening statements, only lawyers. But at the end of the hearing, if either of you want to make a closing statement or an argument, you'll be allowed to do so. But this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask both Mr. Flores and Mr. Cantu to raise your right hands. And ma'am, can you turn your video? Thank you. If you can.
It's not letting me turn it on.
Okay, never mind. Just raise your right hand. Do both of you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, you're both officially on the oath. I'm going to go ahead and let the state call your first witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I would invoke the rule, Your Honor. I believe there's some people who are present with Mr. Flores. I don't know if they're going to be witnesses or not, but if so, I would invoke the rule.
All right, Mr. Flores, are you going to call anybody as a witness today, man, sir, that's with you or in Zoom?
Not today. No witness today.
All right, is there a chance they're going to be a witness in the future, sir?
Yes.
All right, who are those parties, sir?
Say that again?
Who might be the witnesses that are present today, sir?
No, there's no witnesses present today.
I understand that, sir, but you said there's a chance they might. Here's the deal, sir. Anybody who's here today, if they are not, if the rule is not invoked, and they're not listening to the hearing to see what everyone else is saying, that the court will not allow you to call them as a witness in the future. We don't want witnesses hearing testimony from other witnesses. That way we get a fresh and honest eyewitness or information from them. If they listen to what the hearing is saying, everybody is saying, then the odds are they can adapt to what they've heard. So at this time, sir, who is present? And I just need to make sure I want to get their names down. And but next time around, you cannot call them as a witness if you unless they are what we call it the rule with the rule invoked, be separated into a breakout room so they can't hear the hearing. So, sir, who are the people that are here? And I'll go ahead and note that they will not be testifying next time, sir. All right.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know that.
Yes, it's a lawyer thing,
So
sir. Yeah.
okay.
So if you want
Yeah.
them to be able to testify next time, I need to put them in a separate room. If they're going to remain in here and listen, then I can't let them testify next time.
Okay. So right now, if I don't name a witness, I can't have a witness on the next hearing. I can't.
No, sir,
Is
that's
that
not
what
what I'm
you're
saying. Name the witness, and they're going to be, technically, they might be a witness next time. I'm going to have them removed from the courtroom and placed in a breakout room, or they can leave until the next time and not be in here today. But they cannot be in here to hear the testimony of you and Ms. Cantu at this time. So is there anyone in this courtroom right now that may end up being a witness for you at the final hearing or the next hearing, sir?
Yes.
Who is that?
Cindy Munoz.
Anybody else?
No, not at the moment. So I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to name any further. I mean, something might change in the future, but yeah, again,
All right,
I think.
where's Ms. Munoz right now? Is she in the room with you?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Where is she right now? Is she here on her own individual window, or is she in the room with you right now?
No, sir. No, it's just me. Just me in the room.
All right, then where's Ms. Munoz right now?
I think she's in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Well, sir, as long as she doesn't not in the room, that's fine. All right, let's go ahead and. Is there
Yeah.
anything else? I'm sorry. Again, sir, I'm going to go ahead and let the state call you both as witnesses, and we'll proceed at this point. So at this time, Mr. Downey, you may proceed. Thank you. I'm sorry, you've both been sworn in, so you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call Ashley Cantu. Ma'am, will you state your full name, please?
Ashley Cantu.
All right, and I'll probably save a lot of the particulars for Ms. Farah, but can you maybe just tell the court briefly what you and Mr. Flores have been doing with regard to keeping the children?
Since March, when Miley came back to live with me, we've had an agreement where the children go with him Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It just works best that way because Mr. Flores is off on Fridays and Saturdays, so he's able to spend more time with the children.
Okay. And why did Miley come? Actually, I'll save that for Miss Farah. You said he's off on Saturday and Sunday.
Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, but we split the weekend, so I have time with the children also.
Okay. Has he told you about what he's doing work-wise?
I mean, I know he door dashes, and then I know he works at Texas Hydraulics because he said he got the girls' insurance from them.
Okay. Has he told you how long he's been with Texas Hydraulics?
I'm not sure how long he's been there.
Does he tell you what he's made there?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. Has he told you anything about leaving that position?
No.
Okay. Are you, so as you know, he was not ordered to pay child support originally. Have you been able to make ends meet without child support?
I wasn't able to work while I had Genesis just because I physically couldn't afford childcare. And my goal is to have her in childcare or in a daycare before the next school season starts in August. So that way I'm actually able to work full time and contribute to
right.
my other kids I have.
And I asked you a very jumbled question. It fair to say times are pretty tough for you right now?
Yes.
All right. Fair to say you need some child support?
Yes.
Okay. So because it's been a while since we've been in front of Judge, remind Judge what you do for a living.
I'm a substitute teacher with TISD.
Okay. And then you said that you were having issues being able to work. What were the issues?
It was childcare for Genesis, just being able to find someone that's able to watch her, and then having to get her into a daycare and pay the cost up front and the supply fees and stuff like that.
Okay. Since we were last in court, has Mr. Flores provided you any assistance with that?
Not so much with Genesis, but like for school stuff for Miley, for Miley's cheer, and things like that. When I've asked him for it, he's given it to me.
Okay. So you've not asked him if he'd be willing to help out with paying for daycare?
Yes, I have asked him, but then she didn't have. He said he was going to help, and then just kind of never really got to it. And then she didn't have insurance, so I couldn't get her to the doctor to get her shots up to date and get the doctor to sign off on it. And then I asked, that's when I signed up for the Medicaid, so that way I could get her seen and try to get her into it. And then it just never happened.
Okay, so and let's talk about the health coverage. So have you applied for coverage for both of the girls?
Yes, I did apply. I haven't heard anything back. It's just in the waiting period. But as that went through, Mr. Flores says that he already put the girls on his insurance.
Okay, has he provided you with an insurance card or other documentation?
No, I haven't gotten anything yet.
Okay. So probably the last question I'll be asking you. In the temporary order, the court reserved making a finding of non-disclosure, meaning whether or not addresses are going to be published. I would probably ask the court to continue to reserve that for the final. Is that acceptable to you?
That's fine.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Diamond. Your witness, Ms. Sarah.
Okay. Now, Miley and Genesis, how long have they lived with you?
Genesis has lived with me since December of last year, and Miley has lived with me since the beginning of March of this year.
Okay. How did they come to live with you?
Mr. Flores brought them to me.
Okay. Prior to living with you, where were the girls living?
With Mr. Flores in Brownfield.
Okay. And Brownfield is out like West Texas, correct?
Yes, out by Lubbock.
Out by Lubbock. Okay. During the time that the children were living with Mr. Flores, were you sending him money to help him with the children?
No.
Okay. And what possession schedule has Mr. Flores had with the girls since they have come to live with you? Since, let's say, March.
He gets them. He's in March. I mean, it was kind of scattered here and there, but for the last, I'd say like 2 months, he gets them Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And occasionally, when the power went out or the storm came, the children stayed with him for about longer until our power came back on.
Okay. And the neighborhood that you live in did sustain some pretty significant damage. I was at your home yesterday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like that possession schedule with Mr. Flores having the girls Thursday night until Saturday about noon, do you feel like that's in the best interest of the girls?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any concerns with the current residence that Mr. Flores has residing with Ms. Munoz?
No.
Pass a witness, Your Honor.
All right, anything on redirect, Mr. Diamond?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead and call your next witness, ma'am. I'll be back in just a moment. Thank you.
Call Mr. Flores, sir. Will you state your full name, please?
Eli Flores.
Okay. So let's talk about the work situation. Are you still working with, is it Texas Hydraulics?
Yeah, I guess I'm still on the roster. Um, I mean, I'm not going to work for them anymore. So, it's just a matter of time till the termination is filed,
Okay. And all right, we'll get into that in a minute. What were you making at Texas Hydraulics?
My last check was $480.
And that's a weekly paycheck?
Yeah,
What's the hourly rate that they pay you?
19.
All right, what would you say you were getting in the typical week as far as hours?
32.
Okay. Do they offer insurance to their employees?
They do.
And do you have your daughters covered on the insurance?
I mean, I do, but those benefits are going to end, being that I'm not going to work for them anymore.
Begging your pardon, Your Honor, I could ask more questions about the rate of the health insurance, but I could understand why the court might want to just order Ms. Cantu to continue applying for the government health coverage. So I don't want to waste the court's time.
I'm definitely doing that, but you can proceed with the rest of your question, and you can leave the health insurance alone and dental insurance alone for now. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. All right. So you said termination, Mr. Flores. Have they moved to terminate you?
I can go up there tomorrow and tell them that if I could try to get something on paper, something for termination.
All right. So has your employer made you aware of any movement against you as far as your employment?
We've been talking about it. They know that I was supposed to be here today. I've been missing some work for legal issues.
So there's been a conversation. You need to stop missing work, or you're not going to be here much longer.
Yes.
Okay. Have they given you anything in writing?
No, I'm not going back to work for them anymore. So I'm just trying to make that clear.
Okay.
Okay, here's the deal, sir. Mr. Torres, why are you not going back to work for them? If they haven't fired you, why are you not going back to work, sir? Just tell me.
I plead the fifth.
Sir, the fifth is this is a civil court of law. You can't plead the fifth, sir. If you don't want to answer me, that's fine, but I'm gonna hold it against you. Okay. This is not a criminal case, so you can't plead the fifth, sir. Why are you quitting your job? It sounds like you're quitting your job to me, sir. Why are you quitting, or why are you quitting?
No, I'm not quitting. I got other sources of income. I got DoorDash, I got Grubhub. My kids come first, so I'm gonna go to work according to my children's. I believe I should have my children's a little more. The terminology that was used, visitation. My kids live with me also. That's how I would.
Okay, well, that's again, sir. I know you're not a lawyer, and that's a legal determination that this court is going to make one way or the other. So at this point, again, why? If there again, we can give you an excuse to show that you were an order to show that you were ordered to be in court today. You're telling the court at this point you're voluntarily leaving this job to pursue your jobs with DoorDash and Grubhub and whatever delivery services you work for, sir. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've always been a DoorDash and Grubhub. That goes way back. This machining job that I got was only when I recently moved over here. and Grubhub. That goes way back. This machining job that I got was only when I recently moved over here. But I mean, I really I shouldn't be working in a machine shop anymore. I mean, I should have stayed forward with my SSI case. I didn't. I'm just trying to work against the grain here with my physical capabilities. I should never been in that machine shop. I can't do that anymore. So there's that.
All right, so
There's,
you have something from a doctor says that you're physically unable to work at that job, or any any other job limitations you would have based on your ailment, sir. You have something from a physician that can state that, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know I was gonna need it right here, but yes, it's there. It's in my my Scott and White, my chart. I mean, I've had a condition I was born with. I do have a condition, physical condition, a neuropathy.
All right, then I'm going to let the state proceed with your question at this time, Mr. Diamond. You may proceed.
I don't know that I have a whole lot more, Your Honor. I think I could ask about the SSI application, but beyond that, I don't know that I have much more.
Okay, sir. Last year, I got one, sir. Last year, where were you working up until you moved here to back to Bell County, Texas, or wherever you live in Texas? In the vicinity.
I was working DoorDash.
All right.
I was working DoorDash.
All right, and then when you were out in West Texas, were you working anywhere else in 2023?
No, sir. Only Brownfield, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, DoorDash, and Grubhub, and
right,
and that was it.
Did you get 1099s for 2023 from Grubhub and DoorDash, sir? In conformity with federal law? What kind of tax documents?
1099?
Yes, sir. Did you get 1099s for both those businesses for 2023?
Yes, I got one for DoorDash. I don't think I don't remember exactly, but I mean, Grubhub, I don't think I made. I was mainly doing DoorDash. DoorDash was my main source. I like to throw Grubhub in there because I'm just trying to be honest. I'm still a contractor for Grubhub. I just didn't make over $600, so it didn't warrant a 1099.
All right, then. But you do have your 1099 for Grubhub for last year, correct?
For DoorDash, yes.
For DoorDash, I'm sorry. And you didn't work for any other business in 2023 other than DoorDash. Is that what you're telling the court, sir?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry. No, you did not work, or no? Again, that's a negative to my question.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there isn't any other businesses. I only did DoorDash, and I only did that according to how much it costed to take care of my baby, Genesis and Miley. Miley too, Miley and Genesis, but Genesis is more expensive. Being that she was a baby,
All right, then. Any other questions before you pass the witness, Mr. Diamond?
Yes. So you mentioned the Social Security Administration. Do you have an application in with them, Mr. Flores?
No, that's my next move.
Okay, is that, and that be an appeal that you'd be pursuing?
No, I'm just gonna file again. I believe I've my time has exceeded the amount of time they give me to appeal the last decision.
Okay. All right, and I think you were starting to tell the court about this. What's the medical condition you're dealing with?
It's a nerve condition, Charcot-Marie tooth disease. It's a neuropathy condition.
Okay, and is that why you were only getting 32 hours as opposed to 40?
No, that 32 hours is because I got a video of it. It's slow. Business is slow. All of the above. I can't be working in a machine shop right now.
What's the name of what's the name of the disorder again, sir? Charcot-Marie
tooth disease.
Spell-
It stands for,
Spell the Charcot. Could you spell that, please, sir?
oh, it's CHARCOATE. And Marie's like the name Marie, MARIE, and tooth
Okay.
is like tooth, TOOTH. It's three doctors that founded the condition, and that's what they named it, Charcot-Marie tooth.
All right, thank you. All right, you may proceed, Mr. Dunn.
I'll pass a witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Farrar, you're a witness.
Yes, sir. Now, Mr. Flores, you referenced some legal issues. Are you dealing with some legal issues that the court needs to be aware of?
No, I mean, SSI and my lawyer, like I need a lawyer. I should have had a lawyer here today. I mean, I was so close. I need a lawyer. So I got a lot to work on now, you know, with the SSI and a lawyer. I need a lawyer for my next hearing. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have any like criminal cases or anything pending, is that correct?
No, not at
Okay.
all.
Okay, when you said you were pleading
Yeah.
the fifth, I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing that I wasn't aware of. So, okay.
No.
All right. And do you believe that it's in the best interest of your daughters for you to be able to see them every week on the schedule that you have had?
Absolutely, yes.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, then, any other questions of this witness, Mr. Diamond?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Flores, you say you got a 1099 last year from DoorDash, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have access to that, sir, at this time?
I don't have it handy. I'd have to look through my my emails. It's in there. I started. It's in my Star album. So, I mean, I'm sorry I don't have it. I didn't know I was gonna need it. Yeah, I didn't. I'm kind of blindsided by the you know, the income calculation today. I didn't see that coming. You know.
All right, then, sir. And but you do have access to the email, and you can get that for the court going forward, correct?
Correct.
All right, so you need to find that and get a copy to both Mr. Diamond and to Ms. Farrar for that purpose. And when's the last day you worked at your current job here in Bell County, or is it Bell County, whatever? When's the last time you worked at the metal shop, at the metal shop?
It was yesterday. My mind is made up. That yesterday was my last day. Yeah, I've missed some work. You know, and I don't want to do that to the company. Yeah, I should never went back to the machine shop. I knew that I didn't belong in there, you know, with my situation, my health and whatnot. You know, so yesterday was my last day.
All right, Mr. Diamond, any other questions of the witness?
No, just argument, Your Honor.
All right, hey, Mr. Farrar, any questions of either witness at this time?
No, sir.
All right, I'll tell you what, since I'm gonna let the parties have the opportunity to respond to your closing statement, Mr. Diamond, I'll go ahead and let you go first, then let Ms. Farrar go, and then I'll let them make a response because they need to hear what you're requesting and why you're doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I really, the state would love to get child support and cash medical reimbursement, although I could understand holding off on the cash medical because I think the last time we checked, Mr. Flores, I think at one point had at least one of the girls on his grant. But I guess I would have to seek some guidance from the court about the baseline to use. I guess I would submit to the court that
Okay,
32 by 19 would be the. So actually, I can
do you
give
have any
that.
data on his job with DoorDash? You have any of that information, sir?
I do, Your Honor, from Mr. Well, yeah, I tell you what, Your Honor, if the court wants me to recall Mr. Flores, I can, or I could just proffer what I was told the last time we met. It's probably cleaner if I
Go ahead and
recall
call him. Go ahead and call him. Let's not use negotiated information. Go ahead and call him and clarify the information. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, recall Mr. Flores. Mr. Flores, let's talk about what you were making doing the food delivery. So the notes I have, and tell me if my notes are correct or not, but the notes I had from last time were you were making somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500 a month doing the food delivery. Is that about ballpark?
Yeah, I mean that's what my goal is. I haven't made that over the last few months. You know, but it's what I made over the last few months is average between 900 to 1,000. But I mean, at minimum, you know, I have to make at least 1,200, 1,100 at the least.
Okay.
15.
Okay. I mean, it is what it is. So if my numbers are high, then they're high. I'll pass a witness, Your Honor.
All right. Anything on recross, Ms. Farah?
No, sir.
All right. We'll go with the closing statements at this time. Mr. Diamond, you're up first.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, my number, Your Honor, is 19 an hour by 32 hours by 4.3 weeks, which would be a gross monthly of $2,600, $14.40. And if I plug that in, you know, Your Honor, this is really a sloppy hearing on my part. I believe there was prior testimony that Mr. Flores has 3 other children. So if the court can use that, I would ask that he be given credit for those 3 other children. If not, I guess I'd have to recall him again.
All right, we'll save it. I'll ask him when he's making his closing. Thank you.
I'm having issues with my system here, Your Honor.
Join the club.
May I address my colleagues, Your Honor?
Go right ahead.
So, hey, if y'all, well, I tell you, so if I can get somebody to pull up prep, my Texas is giving me trouble. So if somebody could pull up the prep screen and run the numbers, the medical sport's going to be 0, 2 children in, 3 children out, and the gross is going to be $2,614.40. And I can repeat that if I need to.
$2,640.
1-4 and $2,614.40 is what I have.
Multifamily amount is $431.
Thank you, Ms. Hubbard.
Mr. Forrest, is that correct that you have 3 other children plus these 2? I saw you shaking your head, so I wanted to make sure we have the right numbers.
We're not recording right now, Ms. Farah.
No, I know, and that's why before we got off there.
Yeah. I do have 3 other children. Yeah, I was just shaking my head at the income. You know, I'm not gonna be making that 2,000 or whatever.
I want my statements on the record, so I'll wait till I'm on the record. Thank you.
Did you ask a question, Your Honor?
Let's get back on the record. Thank you.
Oh.
All right, we're back on the record at this time. Mr. Diamond, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Anyway, you know, Your Honor, I just asked one of my colleagues to run a calculation. She ran it, and I didn't write down the number. I believe $431 was her calculation, but I can verify that here in a minute. So that's what I would ask.
All right, Ms.
I'm
Farah.
sorry, 431 is my number, Your Honor. So that's what I'm requesting is the child support, at least until we finalize.
All right, Ms. Farah.
Yes, sir. I'm asking the court to keep the parents as joint managing conservators, give mom the exclusive right to designate on a temporary basis, have Mr. Flores have possession of the children on each Thursday. Right now, school's not in session. So, I mean, from the time school would ordinarily be released, so we can do 3 p.m. Until Saturday at noon, each weekend. And with exchanges, I believe the parents have been exchanging at Miss Cantu's home. And so I do not have an objection to that remaining as the exchange point. And on the issue of child support, I leave it to the discretion of the court.
All right, Ms. Cantu. Anything you want to tell the court in closing, ma'am, based on what you've heard from the two lawyers? You're muted, ma'am.
I don't have anything else to add to it.
All right. All right, Mr. Flores, you're up, sir. Anything else you want to tell the court?
I just wanted to make sure that, on this Thursday, and 2 more days that I get, the children as far as we've been agreeing to. That's it. And if there's any way I can get paperwork or print it up, I just wanted to ask if I could do that, if I'm allowed to do that. Documents.
Sorry, sir. What are you asking for as far as paperwork? You asking for something other than the court order granting what the court's going to order at this time?
I'm asking that, according to our agreement, what days that I get them, that's on paperwork somewhere I can get.
Oh, it will be. It will be, sir. Well, what I rule on will be in the paperwork, sir. Was there anything else you want to add about the child support? Anything else, sir?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no, that's it. It's child support things beyond my control. I don't have anything. That's everything. Thank you.
All right, then. Mr. Flores, here's the deal, sir. You're going to need to get the court a copy of something that shows that you are unable to work or cannot work based on your ailment. And you'll need to get that paperwork from a physician and with the physician's information. I'll have the Ms. Farah send over an authorization to allow her to review your medical records for that purpose, okay? So we can get around the HIPAA provisions. This deal, sir, Mr. Flores, any time somebody comes to court and tells me that the last day they're gonna work is yesterday, the judge, I'm sorry, I've been a lawyer for 40 years, and day 2 as a lawyer, that would have set out sirens all over my head, not 40 years later, that's just not the way it works, so. You have the absolute right, sir, to work where you want to do what you want, but to come in and tell me, starting yesterday, you're not going to work there anymore, not good. It's not good. It tells me that, this may be a calculated move on your part. It may not be, but again, sir, it smells of the high heavens. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and name the party's joint managing conservators. I'm going to give mom the right to decide domicile. I'm keeping that right restricted to Bell and contiguous counties for the temporary temporary orders. I mean, well, whatever county you live in now at this time, and any county that touches that county until further order. I'm going to go ahead and give Mr. Flores the opportunity to get us his medical information, give him the opportunity to get the income information going forward. At this time, I'm not going to order any cash medical. I'll order mom to go ahead and see about getting government benefits, and then when we come back, we'll deal with that. But right now, the guideline child support is set. It looks like it would be at 431. I'm going to give Mr. Flores a break, and I'm going to order child support at $331 on a temporary basis, and that child support is to start the first day of July. I'm going to go ahead and grant the visitation package as requested by the ad litem. If I remember correctly, Ms. Farah, that is from Thursday evenings till 12 noon on Saturday, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's for every week going forward. So in other words, sir, you get them every weekend, well, Thursday through Saturday, and that way mom gets some time with them on the weekend also. Anyway, that's going to be the court's temporary order at this time. I'm going to go ahead and ask how far out you're going to request that the reset be on this one, Mr. Diamond. 60 days, 90 days, what are we looking at?
Your Honor, I would defer to Ms. Farah because obviously what she's dealing with is probably weightier.
I was going to ask you. All right, Ms. Farah, I know we're dealing with time restraints on you being able to be in Atlanta. How far out can I push this one before we come back in and give Mr. Flores the opportunity to get his medical information and his work? I'm sorry, his 1099s.
I mean, I would think 60 days is reasonable, Your Honor. And so, I mean, I can do whenever the court feels is appropriate, but I think if Mr. Flores can get us the documentation within 60 days, that would be helpful.
All right, folks, I'm going to look at a special setting for you guys next time. I'm going to go, I'll start looking in August for a date that corresponds with what Ms. Farah can do. When y'all show up and you'll be the only hearing I have. I'm going to set this aside for I'm going to set this up for at least an hour and a half to 2 hour hearing on that date, and you're the only case I'll have at that time. Again, the circumstances will warrant that. Mr. Flores, it's left up to you where you want to work, sir. But again, and I can hold that for you. I can hold that against you. But you need, if you're saying you can't work because of medical circumstances, you need to get Ms. Farah that information, plus give her an authorization to review your medical information and be able to talk to your docs. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right, folks, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and go with the temp. I'll see everybody. It's going to be in August. And again, I'm going to give you all at least 30 to 45 days advance notice so you can work around any jobs or information. It'll be before school starts, Ms. Cantu, so it won't interfere with your substitute teaching job. So I'll definitely make it before then. And we'll come back in and we'll see what we have. But again, next time you come into court, you're going to be the only case I have for that 1.5 hour, 2 hour time frame. All right.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
All right, the state's going to prepare an order, sir, and ma'am, they'll have all this information in it. This is what you'll use. Y'all can agree to anything you want, but fair in agreement, you got to fall back on the specifics of the order. And like the state said, the exchanges are going to take place at your address, ma'am, pick up and drop off by dad, all right?
Okay.
All right, see everybody when it's really going to be hot outside. And at this time, anything else, Mr. Diamond?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, we're off the record, guys, and I'll see y'all in August. And Ms. Farah, I'll have Belinda send you over some dates that are available and times, and we'll see about working those into your schedule, work schedule and vacation schedule for you and the boys, okay? Because I know y'all got to go somewhere this summer, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We're off the record.
Your Honor, only Ms. Paget is present today. Mr. Johnson is not. We have received the DNA testing results and are prepared to show those to the court. We're asking for a final order today that names Mr. Johnson as the father to Braylon Johnson. Ms. Paget has some safety concerns regarding Mr. Johnson, and I think her testimony will show that she's asking to be named sole managing conservator with no geographic restriction, asking for the right to apply for the passport due to the age of the child and just Mr. Johnson being in and out of incarceration. Ms. Paget is requesting that there be a modified possession order with 6 visits at each step before a standard possession order applies, and pickup and drop off to occur either at a police station or at Mr. Johnson's mother's house. The state is asking for guideline support to be set based on minimum wage. 1 child in this order, no other children outside of the order, so that would make child support $209. Ms. Paget does provide insurance through her work for the child, and it does cap out the affordability costs, so the state is asking for her to be reimbursed at the maximum of $113. As far as retroactive support, Ms. Paget has provided medical insurance for the child since the child was born. So we're asking for 34 months of retroactive child support at $7,854, but also asking the court to consider 34 months of medical support, either added to the child support or on its own judgment, capped out at that $113 for an amount of $3,842. And if we were to combine those just for a child support retroactive judgment, it'd be $11,696.
All right, let's go ahead and get let's get Ms. Paget sworn in and let's get some testimony. Ms. Paget, please raise your right hand, ma'am. All right, ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're gonna give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, and here's the deal, ma'am. Put your hands down. Put your hand down. Here's the deal, ma'am. You can only testify to actual convictions that you were a witness to of Mr. Johnson, in other words, sitting in court, or any convictions that he specifically said that he was actually convicted of, ma'am. You cannot use, even if you read it on the web, that's still hearsay. So again, you got to be an eyewitness to the conviction, or he had to actually tell you what that conviction was and where it was and that sort of thing. So, and again, ma'am, convictions don't actually equate to sole MC. So again, I'll let the state get some information on that also, as far as what your understandings are of those different convictions in the criminal justice system. But this time, Ms. Hubbard, you may go ahead and proceed. I'm going to review the file on a couple of issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. State would like to call Ms. Paget. Ma'am, will you state your name for the record?
Tamika Paget.
Can you state the name and birthday of the child that you have with Mr. Johnson?
Braylon Johnson, April the 28th of 2021.
And were you able to see the DNA test results in this case?
No.
All right, Your Honor, may I share my screen?
Yes, you may.
Okay. So, Ms. Johnson, the screen should be showing DNA testing results for you, the child Braylon, and Mr. Johnson. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
And you were able to participate in that DNA testing?
Yes.
And you agree that Mr. Johnson is properly found as the father?
Yes.
And prior to this, I showed you the picture, which I don't want to show confidential information on the internet. Let me see if I can scroll down. There we go. Your Honor, I'm going to share my screen again, if that's okay.
All right.
And
yes.
is that's a picture of Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to offer this into evidence as State's Exhibit 1, the DNA testing results in this case.
All right, Ms. Paget, any objection to States 1 coming to evidence, ma'am?
No.
All right, States 1 shows that Mr. Anthony D. Johnson could not be excused the biological father of the child. Braylon probably would apparently exceeds the 99.99% as required by Texas Family Code. The court will also find him to be the father and ask the state to forward that over to be admitted as State's Exhibit 1. You may proceed.
Ms. Paget, does Mr. Johnson have any contact with Braylon?
Sometimes.
I guess in the picture that I showed you when he was doing DNA testing results, Mr. Johnson was incarcerated at the time. Is that correct?
Yes.
And has he been incarcerated in and out since Braylon was born?
Yes.
Okay. As far as those incarcerations, do you know what they were for?
The last one was for a possession of a firearm by a felon. The last one was I think it was he cut off his ankle monitor and he had a warrant.
Here's the deal, ma'am. Again, I'm looking for actual convictions. It's the only things that you know he's been convicted of, not what he's been charged with, okay?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Do you know if these incidences occurred in Bell County?
Yes.
Okay. Did Mr. Johnson say what he was convicted of during any of those times?
Of the times since Braylon was born?
Yes.
No, I haven't talked to him about any of that.
And before Braylon was born, do you know what he was incarcerated on before that?
The last time or any of the other times?
When he was incarcerated for 4 years.
I think it was for hitting somebody with a baseball bat. So he told me about that. I think that was that time.
Okay. And that incident also happened in Bell County?
Yes.
Okay. As far as violence between you and Mr. Johnson, has Mr. Johnson ever harassed you, harmed you, or threatened to harm you?
No.
Okay. Are you, again, keeping in mind judge's rule, you have to have seen it or Mr. Johnson has to have said something directly to you. Are you aware of any problems with drugs?
Yes.
Okay, what kinds of drugs?
Meth.
Okay. And Mr. Johnson has admitted to you that he uses meth?
He's typed it on his Facebook page that he does meth.
Okay. Are you concerned about your child's safety if, say, it was just a standard possession order and Braylon was ordered to go to Mr. Johnson's house this summer for 30 days?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time there was a visit between Braylon and Mr. Johnson?
Braylon saw Anthony at his mom's house about this weekend. I think it was Saturday.
Okay. Before that, how long had it been since there was a visit?
Maybe 8-9 months, maybe a year.
Okay, so you're not only concerned about Braylon's safety, but you also want Braylon to be able to establish a relationship with Mr. Johnson before he's visiting for 30 days in the summer.
Right. Yes.
Okay. As far as for the sole managing conservatorship, usually that means you're the only person who makes the decisions. The state guideline or base of what we start from is both parties make the decisions that are in the best interest of the child. Can you talk to the court about instances that you've witnessed or reasons why that you know Mr. Johnson would not be able to make those decisions for Braylon?
Well, for one, he's never around. We may be able to find him maybe once or twice a year.
When you say find him, he actually disappears and you have no contact with him?
Right.
Okay.
Like, for example, this weekend, I took Braylon over to spend time with him after, because he had just got out. And when they woke up in the morning, Anthony was gone.
Okay. And
so he just left.
It's okay. You got there. You got there.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Do you know if Mr. Johnson has any other children under the age of 18?
No, he doesn't have any more under the age of 18.
They're all grown at this point?
Yes.
Okay. And from the time that Braylon was born until now, about how many months has Mr. Johnson been incarcerated?
A total? Since he's been born, maybe, I would say maybe 8. If I had to guess, like a total of maybe 8.
So maybe somewhere between 4 and 8 months?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to make sure that the court considers today?
Mm, no, just I just feel like it's in Braylon's best interest for me to be able to make the decisions for him because Anthony isn't capable.
And as far as Mr. Johnson just disappearing, you're also a little bit concerned because maybe at some point you'd like to travel with Braylon. Are you asking the court to make you the sole person who can apply and manage the passport for Braylon?
Yes.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, here's the deal, ma'am. Again, while the child's with you, obviously you get to make the decisions, but either under possessory conservators, ma'am, if he ever works his way into getting visitation, standard visitation, then he's going to get certain rights to make decisions of the child with the child when the child is with him. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure because you think he got zero rights. He doesn't. He does.
No, it's not.
I'm still-
I don't want to take his rights away, but he doesn't. He's not capable of making decisions for himself or a baby right now.
Well, I'm going to find this in the best interest of this child based on the testimony that you be named sole MC, and I'm naming the dad possessory, and I will grant the retro. Ms. Hubbard, let's use the higher end. Let's go ahead and not include 8 months of that for the child support and for the cash medical, and I'll order retro for both of those. And I want you to combine the cash medical with the child support to make it just one, because I don't think you guys do. Well, y'all may do it on that on your financial activity report, but let's not take a chance that it messes it up. So let's go ahead and just put it all under retroactive child support going for from the as of the 30th day of May 2024, and going forward, I'll order child support based on the guideline amount requested, cash medical based on the guideline requested, and I'm starting at the first day of July 2024, and I'll order the visitation package as requested by the mom. In fact, I'm based on this person's history. I'm going to go ahead and make the first set of visits at 8, and then go to 666 for the remaining 3 episodes. Court costs to be paid by the father. I'll give him to December 31st, 2024 to make those payments. And is there anything else specifically I need to rule on, Ms. Hubbard?
No, Your Honor, but I do have a combined amount for the retro if the court would like to hear it.
Go ahead and give it to me, please.
$13,072.
All right, so we're looking at a repayment. The interest alone on that's about $65 a month. So I'll go ahead and order a repayment. This will make it 100 even.
Yes, sir.
All right, anything else then, Ms. Hubbard?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Patchen, any other questions? Anything else, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
All right, well, good luck to you and your sons, ma'am, and y'all be careful out there. Have a good summer, and don't burn up. It's Texas, so that's problematic. All right, so does he not swim yet? Oh, he's only 3, right? He's always turning.
Yes,
okay,
3.
Yeah, he's a little younger than he's swimming yet, but the next couple of years, obviously. So yeah. All right, then, ma'am. Well, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's the state's understanding that Ms. Burton is in agreement with the state that this be a final order today. She is asking that she and Mr. Weimer be named joint managing conservators of the 2 children, that the parties have a standard possession order in the event that they can't agree about visitation, that Ms. Burton maintain the government medical in place for the children while the father pays cash medical support. Child support in this case is going to be based on Ms. Atha's testimony regarding her findings for his wages. Ms. Burton is not seeking any retroactive support, just the current support that would start July 1st. Additionally, Your Honor, the parties are also wanting to consider the use of app close. While the state did plead for non-disclosure, it's the state's understanding that parents are aware of where each other lives and contact information and are willing to update. However, the app close as an option may be good for parties in the future so that communications remain about the children. And I believe that's it, Your Honor, as far as what this order should look like.
Okay, I wasn't expecting the FV request. Since the acknowledgements of paternities were attached to the pleadings, that should be something y'all don't do. Anyway, it's only both parties,
Only the mother, Your Honor.
okay then. All right, then at the time, I'm gonna go ahead and now the internet's acted up. Now it's raining outside. We'll see. Anyway, at this time, I'll go ahead and swear in Ms. Burton and Ms. Apka, and we'll hear this time. So I'll ask both of them. So raise your right hands, and Ms. Apka. Do both solemnly swear or affirm testimony to give today's to help you?
Yes, sir.
Do you so swear?
Yes.
You're both officially under oath, and I'll go ahead and let the state call you as individual witnesses. You may proceed, Ms. Bogart. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state first calls Ms. Atha. Ma'am, what is your full name?
Brianna Atha.
How are you employed?
I am a child support officer with the Office of the Attorney General.
What do your duties include?
Typically, I'm completing detailed investigations to establish paternity, establish and modify support orders, assisting in locating absent parents, including wage research, and responding to customer inquiries.
And in this case, Ms. Atha, was an investigation done regarding Maurice Weimer?
Yes, there was.
Please describe what was found in your calculations.
So for Mr. Weimer, I was able to find wages. The most recent wages, I calculated a gross monthly amount of $3,272.50. So based on that,
please again, I'm sorry, I missed that.
sorry, $3,272.50.
All right, thank you.
And so based off of that information, I was able to calculate a current support amount of $662 with a medical support cash medical reimbursement of $147. And then there would also be a step down due to there being 2 children on the order. So the step down would be to $529.
Thank you, Ms. Atha. Was there anything else that you found?
I believe that was all of it.
Your Honor, I pass this witness.
All right, Ms. Burton, do you have any questions of CSO Atha?
No.
All right, the CSO be excused, Ms. Bungard?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Atha, and the state may call the next witness.
The state calls Ms. Burton. Ma'am, what is your full name?
Shaniqua Burton.
And ma'am, who are the children in this case?
Zaylani and Maurice Jr.
And how are you related to them?
Mom.
Who is the father of these children?
Maurice Weimer.
Is it correct, ma'am, that you and Mr. Weimer each signed a document called an acknowledgement of paternity for both of the children?
Yes.
And ma'am, were you able to hear my opening statement to the court of the issues I believe you and the state have agreed to today for a final order?
Yes.
Was that an accurate description of the relief you were seeking?
Yes.
Specifically, ma'am, you and Mr. Weimer are fine being named as joint managing conservators going forward?
Yes.
And the children in this case, have they always lived with you?
Yes.
And you're asking that this court name you as the primary conservator able to decide where they live without geographic restriction?
Yes.
And then as far as Mr. Weimer's time with the children, you and he have so far been able to come to agreements about the time he gets with them, correct? And going forward, ma'am, you're wanting the standard possession order to be in place, especially since your older child will soon start school?
Yes.
How do your children have health coverage?
Medicaid.
And you're comfortable maintaining that going forward, Ms. Burton, while we ask Mr. Weimer to pay that cash medical support amount testified to by my colleague?
Yes.
And then, ma'am, as far as the child support, you were not wanting anything going back, just forward, correct?
Yes.
And is it correct, Ms. Burton, that you were aware that Mr. Weimer has employment, but you weren't necessarily sure about his earnings?
Yes.
And so, ma'am, you don't have anything that you were aware of different from what my colleague testified to?
No.
And then, ma'am, as far as the amounts she stated for the child support, you understand that that was at the full. I'm going to pause, ma'am, while Judge rejoins. So, Ms. Burton, we had just talked about my colleague's findings for Mr. Weimer's income. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
And you didn't know anything different than what she testified to?
No.
And then, ma'am, the amounts that she announced for child support, both for both children and then when it was only one in the home, you understand we're at the full 25%?
Yes.
And my understanding, ma'am, is you and Mr. Weimer have gotten along well enough that you would like to not unduly burden him with the full amount, but give him a 10% break. So it would be 10% less than each of those, correct?
Yes.
So rather than the $662 for 2 children, you're asking this court to award the $596 per month?
Yes.
And then rather than the $529 as a step down, it would be $476 when only one child was a minor?
Yes.
And part of this, ma'am, is the visitation you and Mr. Weimer had done since March of 23, correct? Could you please describe the schedule to the court as these past few weeks as an example?
Okay, so example, like he had them yesterday and he has them today. And so I picked them up from daycare tomorrow. So I'll have them Wednesday, Thursday until Friday morning, and then I'll drop them off at daycare. And then he has them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and he drops off at daycare Monday. Then I pick up and I'll have Monday, Tuesday, and then he'll have Wednesday, Thursday. So it's like alternating like that.
Got it. Thank you.
And so, ma'am, what are you and he in the same town or different ones? Excuse me.
Different towns.
Where are you and where is he?
I am in Coppers Cove and he is in Killeen.
And then, ma'am, is it correct that your son will be starting school this fall?
Yes.
And then, ma'am, as far as y'all's addresses, at this time, you and Mr. Weimer know where the other person lives?
I don't think he hasn't been over here, but I don't mind giving him my address, but I know where he lives at.
Okay. And so as far as your address appearing in the court's order and you updating Mr. Weimer in the future of any changes, all of that is good?
Yes.
And then, ma'am, any issues you all might have are more disagreements, no safety concerns or violence?
No.
And then, ma'am, was there anything else you and I discussed that the court needs to be aware of?
No.
Okay. Then, Your Honor, the state passes this witness and rests.
All right, Ms. Burton, based on the schedule you gave, the court has no problem granting request. The court can, deviation of 10% is well within the guidelines, so the court will go ahead and grant that. But I'm looking at naming you both joint management conservators, giving you the right to set down the South. That right's unrestricted, which means you can live where you want, ma'am. I'm gonna go ahead and order the child support at the amount you requested. Also maintain cash medical at the amount the state requested. I understand you're not asking for back child support due to the circumstances of the father's involvement. So the court's going to grant that. That's left that money's yours. So if you don't want it, that's left up to you. I'll also go ahead and order the standard visitation package. Obviously, with the school starting, the schedule is probably going to be a little different because only one child will be daycare, one will be in school. So I'll go ahead and let y'all work things out. However, based on there's no finding of family violence, we keep each other informed of your address information going forward. And I'm going to go ahead and order app close, ma'am. It's the parenting app. It's just That way, any discussions y'all have concerning the kids need to go through it. It's got a texting function, it's got a FaceTime electronic function, it's got all that built in, and it even technically has a money transfer function. But don't use that for child support. Y'all can use that to send money to each other if you want, but don't use that for child support. Let's go ahead and always child support has to go through the state disbursement unit with the father to get proper credit. But the thing about the app close is it's not he said, she said. You have to set up the account. He has to go ahead and get in the account. So nothing that comes through that account cannot be verified in a future court hearing unless somebody hacks both of y'all and starts using your app close act to do things. But other than that, it's straight up that way, spam, and so no one should be able to see what y'all saying and doing. And it doesn't rely on Facebook or WhatsApp or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and order you to do that, get that done before within the next 10 days, and give Dad the information before he can get that, where he can start. He can get his into that account and set up his account also. So at this time, Ms. Burton, any questions?
So yes, for the schedule, did you say we're gonna we have to make up the own schedule, or how's that?
No, ma'am. I've ordered standard visitation, but if y'all can't come, but if standard visitation packages, anytime y'all can agree. But family agreement, you got to fall back on the standard. And when school starts, obviously it's going to be different. There's a separate package for school, and y'all don't even live in the same county. Y'all live close enough to each other. You know, you're right. You're in Corey, he's in Bell. But again, because of that, and because of school, y'all need to work through and see what y'all can agree to. But if you can't come to agreement, fall back what the state says is the standard right for the non-custodial parent to have as far as visitation is concerned during the school year.
Okay.
All right. But again, y'all can agree to anything. We want you to agree to things. You know your schedules, you know his schedules. If he still can make that 2-day thing work when the child starts school, more power to you, okay?
Okay.
But all of a sudden the drop off and pick up will not be daycare, and school gets out for he's gonna be in pre-K.
Yes.
But it depends on the school district, but it's somewhere between 2:30 and 3 o'clock. So obviously that's a couple hours before most people get off from work. So obviously y'all gonna have to work through that. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, Ms. Burton?
No.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Munga, I need to specifically rule on, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
May Ms. Burton be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Good luck to you and the kids, and we're off the record.
8 would ask the court to take judicial notice of the prior order in this case, which is an order establishing the parent-child relationship and in suit affecting the parent-child relationship, which was signed on August 28th, 2018.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, Judge. And Your Honor, in that order, only the cash medical support was ordered. At that time, the parties were living together. So the issue of conservatorship and visitation and current support were not addressed because the parties were living together. Now, I will tell the court that this case involves allegations of prior family violence, as well as recent CPS involvement. The children in this case are 9. One will turn 8 next month, and then there's a 6-year-old. Because conservatorship and visitation was not addressed at the last order, the parties have agreed to do a status quo order that the children are currently living with Miss Franklin, and they are not to be removed from her residence. That way, Mr. Thompson cannot just get up and take the kids right now. The state is asking, because conservatorship and visitation were not addressed at the last order, that this court consider appointing an attorney ad litem. The parties are in agreement that if an attorney ad litem is appointed, Judge, they will address the conservatorship and visitation at the next setting. Non-disclosure is at issue. Ms. Franklin is asking that her information not be included in this order. So if the court does appoint an attorney ad litem, the state would ask that that be reserved. That issue of the non-disclosure be reserved because Mr. Thompson is requesting Ms. Franklin's information. So instead of addressing it today, we're asking that it be reserved if an attorney ad litem be appointed. So I am asking for temporary orders, Judge, because the other issue before the court for today is current income. There's no agreement as to what current income is and what child support should be set. But the parties are in agreement that Ms. Franklin is going to continue the children on government health insurance, and Mr. Thompson will pay cash medical support of $150 to begin July 1st. And on the support, Miss Franklin is requesting to go back for after date of service. Both of the parties were served in March of this year. So child support could start April 1st of 2024. And the state is also requesting that as well. And so basically the only issues other than whether the court will consider an attorney ad litem is current child support at this time.
All right, thank you very much. I'm gonna go ahead and let the state call both witnesses this time. Let's get some testimony. Let's find out what's going on here. I understand there are some agreements, and I'm probably looking at an ad litem. And the next up on the list I cannot use because she was a lawyer at the time with your office on this case. So Ms. Lambert's out is not going to be the ad litem, and I'll go ahead and make a determination who's after her and whether or not I'm going to appoint such ad litem. So at this time, I need Ms. Franklin to unmute herself. Hit *6, ma'am. And Mr. Thompson's unmuted at this time. And I'll go ahead and ask you both to raise your right hands, please. As soon as I hear see Ms. Franklin is unmuted.
I'm here.
Yeah, I see you, Mr. Thompson. You're showing up on my screen. Ms. Franklin's showing up, but she says showing that she does not have audio at this time yet. She's muted. Ms. Franklin, like I said, hit *6 on your key. There you go.
I'm unmuted.
All right.
I'm unmuted.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Well, both please raise your right hands. Both of you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you.
Correct. Yes.
Yes, sir. All right, you're both officially under oath, and I'll go ahead and let Ms. Gonzalez-Taylor call you witnesses, and we'll proceed with the rulings as far as the temporary order is concerned, and we'll take it from there. You may proceed. Thank you, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. State would call Ms. Franklin, Brandy Franklin. Ms. Franklin,
Yes.
could you state the names of the 3 kids and their ages, please?
Gabrielle Thompson, she's 9. Alika Thompson is 7, and Azari Thompson is 6.
And how long have you and Mr. Thompson been separated as far as not living together?
It's probably been 5-6 years.
And have the children resided with you the entire time since separation?
Yes.
And you're in agreement today that the court order that the children not be removed from your residence under as a status quo, just to maintain the status quo?
Correct.
Would you be in agreement that if the court appoints attorney ad litem, that at the next hearing, the rights and duties and visitation for Mr. Thompson and yourself would be addressed?
Correct.
Now, without going into great detail, has there been prior family violence involving you and Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Was there ever any police reports?
Yes.
Was there a protective order?
No. They wouldn't
And
give me one.
When was the last time you had to call the police involving Mr. Thompson?
In September, I believe.
And in that September incident, was CPS involved?
Yes.
And did they open a case?
Yes, they opened and closed it.
Okay, do you know what this, oh, you just said they closed it. What was the reason CPS was called out that day?
Because him and his girlfriend jumped me in front of my baby because she was present.
Okay, and when you said jumped you, was it a physical assault?
Yes, they both assaulted me.
Okay. Had there been, I know you said you separated for several years, but had there been other incidents of any physical assaults or physical contact towards you by Mr. Thompson in the past?
Yes, plenty.
Okay. And was this when you lived together, or was there some after you stopped living with him?
Both.
Okay. Do you believe that well, has Mr. Thompson done anything since September to either harass, harm you, or threaten you, or cause you any bodily injury?
Not him personally, no, but his family is contacting.
And does Mr. Thompson, does he live near you?
He did, but I moved.
Okay. As that when CPS was called, were the children present when when you're alleging that he assaulted you?
Yes, just one of my babies.
And again, without going into great detail, what did he do that day? Or was it him or someone else that day in September of last year?
It was him ultimately. But the girlfriend came outside and she inserted herself. But I was basically just getting my baby and trying to leave, and he kept me from doing that. And that's how it started.
Okay. Did you do anything to Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, after he did something to me.
Okay. Now in the past, when you said there was physical violence, can you briefly just tell the court what type of physical violence was there?
There's been plenty of fights still in front of children. He's pulled a gun out on me. There's a police report for that. He's put things in my drink.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt now, but you said there's several police reports. Which city?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
You said there are several police reports. Which city are those reports in? Are there in different cities?
No, there's all here in Bell County. In Killeen.
Which city in Bell County?
You say, what do I mean in Bell County?
No, which city in Bell County?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. Hold on, let me take.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble here. Which city in Bell County did you this incident take place in? All right, thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Taylor.
And at this time, does Mr. Thompson currently have any visitation?
He hasn't seen them since that incident.
Okay. And without going into great detail, would you be agreeable or not to him, without addressing it today, at this point, would you be agreeable to him having any visits with the children in the future?
I'm uncomfortable with it without it being something in between us to protect me and my kids.
And we talked about the rights and duties the parents could have towards their children. What was your position on Mr. Thompson having some of those rights, like being able to talk to doctors, counselors, school officials, attend school functions? What is your position on Mr. Thompson having some of those rights?
He doesn't know how to do any of that. He don't know teachers' names, anything.
Do you believe that if the court was to appoint an attorney ad litem, you'd be able to provide that person more information about what's happened in the past and why you feel that way?
Of course.
Let's talk about the current health insurance. What is the current health insurance for the kids?
Medicaid.
And you're in agreement to continue that, at least under temporary orders?
Yes, ma'am.
And let's talk about child support. Has Mr. Thompson ever provided you support for the children prior to being in court?
Yes, he has. Not since last year, but yes.
And was there ever an agreement between you and Mr. Thompson as to what that amount was?
No written agreements, no.
Did Mr. Thompson provide you a certain amount each week?
Yes, when he wouldn't agree, he gave me, we started with 2 a week, then I asked for more, he gave me 3 a week.
Well, you'd say 3, we're talking about $300 a week?
Yes.
And how long did y'all do that for?
We did it on and off throughout the years, whenever he felt like giving it to me and whenever he felt like stopping.
Okay. Now, are you in agreement? The state's asking for Mr. Thompson to pay $150 a month in cash medical support. Would you be in agreement with that?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, so if we did it at $300 a week, now, do you know if Mr. Thompson has any other children?
Not to my knowledge.
How much do you believe Mr. Thompson makes per year?
Over $100,000.
And how do you know that?
I had to use his information a couple of years ago to get my youngest baby out of Head Start and into regular school. And because that was my only form of income at the time, I had to use it, and he gave me those W-2s.
Do you remember what years you had?
2021.
Do you have any more recent income information for Mr. Thompson?
No.
Now you're asking the court to not include your address, phone number, and email in this order?
Correct.
And is it because you believe that Mr. Thompson would either harass you, harm you, threaten you, or cause you some type of bodily injury if that was provided in the order?
Yes, he's also had access to my phone that he's told me he's able to see all of my information. I don't trust anything.
Ask the witness.
All right, ma'am, I'll be back in just a moment. Go ahead and call your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, state will call Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson, are you in agreement that to just maintain the status quo that the children will reside with Miss Franklin? In other words, you just can't go and remove them from her home. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes,
You said yes? Okay. And as far as providing your information in this order, are you in agreement to provide your address, phone number, and email in this order?
That's fine, ma'am.
And Miss Franklin is asking that her information not be included in this order. What is your position on that?
Really, I don't feel that's right because those are my kids. So I should know where my kids are at, where they're located at. But if she don't want to, that's fine. I don't even bother her. So at the end of the day, whatever to see my kids.
Now you understand that currently there's nothing to address, what rights you would have or visitation. Are you in agreement that, I guess whether the court appoints attorney ad litem or not, that could be addressed at the next hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second, let me, hopefully my audio is not too bad. Sir, an ad litem is an attorney that's going to represent the children's best interest and come back and give the court information of what that lawyer recommends for his client or her clients, the children, what visitation, so forth and so on, that should be set up in their best interest. Do you have a problem with that, sir?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. You may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Thompson, you're in agreement that Ms. Franklin is going to continue the children on the government health insurance at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you in agreement to pay the $150 a month beginning July 1st for cash medical support?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's talk about your income. Did you at some point make above $100,000?
Yes, ma'am.
What year did you make that?
That was 2021. It was 127.
It was
22. I made about 124.
That was 124,000, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, ma'am. That's included employees' pay and maintaining the business.
Okay, but that 124,000, was that what you took home after you paid your employees and deductions?
No. That's with everything, employees, tools. At the end of it, I probably ended up with maybe 60, 70.
60 and 70,000? Now, do you still have copies of those tax returns?
Yeah, I have copy of the 21. I didn't do taxes for 23. I just got my 1099s, and 22 I have to request 22 because I did do 22.
Okay. Now for last year, what was your income for last year?
Last year was 109.
And again, was that what you took home? Was that
No,
before the deductions?
Like I said, that's included. When I finish is about 50, 55, 56.
So you went from 109,000 to about 56,000 a year?
Yes.
Is that if this is that something you could provide documentation to the state?
Yes, ma'am.
So you would have the tax return with the attachments showing your deductions?
Yes, I will have to get the taxes filed.
Okay, is that
I'm sorry,
something?
real quick, I'm sorry, again, real quick, sir. You said you filed, I know you filed 21, you said you filed 22 and you hadn't filed 23 yet?
Yes.
Okay, but you can get a copy of 22, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You may proceed.
Yes. So, do you plan on filing your taxes for 2023 soon?
Well, I was planning on filing them next year. I didn't have the time. Not that I don't have the time, but I'm always occupied with stuff, and I didn't get to do it this year. So I said I would just do it next year.
What is the difference between 2021? Well, actually, 2021 after your deductions, you said it would be about 60 to 70,000. Is that what you expect to make this year?
Well, it's no telling, to be honest. Your contract, I'm building houses, so it went down because interest rate is high. So it's like I say, it's no telling what I make at the end of the year. I just do the jobs as they come.
Well, Mr. Thompson, actually, are you self-employed?
Yeah, self-employed.
And what is your business?
All Thompson's Construction, LLC.
And how many employees do you have working for you?
Right now I got 3. It varies. Now, sometimes I have 6 or more.
How much do you normally pay your employees? Do you know?
Well, I got all of them now at 20 an hour.
$20 an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Thompson, did you at some point pay Ms. Franklin $300 a week in child support?
Yes. We started off, I told her I'd give her 150, she said 200. I gave her 200. Then I jumped it up. She never asked me for no more money. I gave her 300. And I decided if I was doing over here, I needed to do more for my kids. I gave her 300. Once I gave her 300, she went to the school and she got my 1099. Then she decided she wanted 400, but she put me on child support, so then I started giving her 300.
All right, Mr. Thompson, hold on a second. So at $300 a week, that comes out to $1,300 a month. So you've at least given her that in the past. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that a number that you would agree to as far as child support monthly right now on a temporary basis?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm comfortable.
Yes, and you would agree that at least that would be the minimum. Now, if the court finds it to be higher, at least a minimum would be $1,300 a month.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine, but I mean,
now
I really don't have a. Go ahead.
Okay. And Mr. Thompson, you understand, and I don't know if you're in agreement or not, but the state's asking that your child support start from April 1st of 2024. Do you have a position on that as to whether the court should do that or not? Do you want to comment?
Yeah, I don't think that's right, and that's the reason she ain't been getting no money from me. I don't see my kids. She would hold my kids for me. When she was living there, she tell the kids when they see me run inside or go inside, how am I paying for kids that are...
At this time, Ms. Taylor, I'll go ahead and hold in abeyance the retroactive amount start date. But here's the deal, sir. When we come back, I'm probably looking at ordering you to pay that $2,600 for you said the 1st of March or 1st of April. I'm sorry, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, Judge.
Did you say the 1st of what was that? The April or March? I'm sorry.
April 1st. They were served in March, both of them.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, so sir, again, at the end, when we come back for final, I could be looking at ordering you to pay at least $3,900 at a minimum for those months after your date of service. But for right now, I'll just go ahead and start with the $1,300 a month, start the first day of July. And I'll tell you, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and start the first day of June, so you gotta pay that by the end of the month. But I'll look at those other 2 months when we come back for final, after I get all the information and all the recommendations from the lawyer representing the kids. So right now, like I said, Ms. Taylor, I'll go with June the 1st. So Dad has to pay this month, okay?
Okay, just a couple more questions, Judge.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Thompson, what is it that you do exactly in construction?
I build houses. I frame houses.
Okay, and do you believe your income is going to go down from 2021 until, you know, what you're currently making in 2024?
Well, it's went down all because, like I say, with interest rate, it's harder to get jobs. So yes, it's went down. I know I've been in business 2014. I've been out of work, but for the last 2 years, when the end of the year, I've been at home.
I have no further questions for Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson, do you have an accountant?
No, sir.
Who does your taxes?
Well, I got a lady that does them.
Okay, so she's the one that did your she's the one that did your 21 and 22 taxes. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, she did all of my back taxes.
And where is she located? Is she located here in Bell County?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, anything else on examination of Mr. Thompson at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything you need to do as far as recalling Ms. Franklin at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right, folks, I'm looking at going ahead and appointing an ad litem to represent the children in this matter. I was looking at one ad litem, but since she was the lawyer that did your original order, she can't do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to look at appointing Ms. Allison Kuzak as the attorney ad litem in this case. I'm going to, so in other words, your children's lawyer's name is Allison Kuzak. She will be in contact with both of you to get your side of the story and to get your information. Is still, sir, you'll need to get that those 21 and 22 tax returns, get her a copy and get a copy to the state where we can review those. And right now, she'll also get some information on how you get paid for your individual jobs at this point. And you're a subcontractor, sir, or are you the main contractor?
I'm a subcontractor.
All right, so she'll probably be asking for information on who the contractors are and try to get some current data. But I'll leave that up to her how she wants to try to handle that. I'm gonna go ahead and order temporary child support, $1,200 a month, cash medical at $150. I'm starting that here in June, so mom can get some money this month, and so you need to pay that $1,300 in this for the child support this month on or before the 30th of June, sir. That way you won't be behind. That gives you 3 weeks to get that done. Or gives you 19 days to get that done. I'm going to go ahead and at this time, I'm going to hold an advanced visitation. I'm going to go ahead and let the ad litem make recommendations on what the visitation needs to be going forward to see if she can get a copy of any police reports. But here's the problem. Here's the thing, ma'am. Police reports are not convictions unless obviously they show something that's going on, but unless there's a criminal conviction or there's something in that CPS case that y'all didn't know about, then I'm probably looking to get Dad to a standard visitation package as soon as possible. But based on y'all's past circumstances, I'm probably going to at least make all exchanges at KPD. So, but they'll be let up, but they'll involve y'all taking the kids out and picking them up and dropping them off at KPD. But I'll also base that on what the ad litem recommends going forward. Here's the deal, folks. She's not going to be your lawyer. She's the children's lawyer. She's going to make recommendations and she will make the request for findings. If you think you need to get your own lawyer, then you need to go speak to your own lawyer. But again, she's going to give me, she's going to make a request based on what she thinks your children need going forward. So at this time, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to ask either of you, and like I said, until she comes back and tells the court how she wants to set up the visitation package, how she wants to set up child support based on what she's learned, I'll allow her to do that. And I'm probably going to get, I want to get something back in here and get something done on this one before the end of July, probably. So at this time, is there anything else you're asking me to do here today, Mr. Franklin? And then I'm going to you, Ms. Thompson, and then see what else Ms. Taylor needs. All right, thank you. So, Mr. Franklin. anything else you're asking me to do here until we get back next month with the ad litem's information? May not be until may not be till August, but is there anything you want me to do, sir, before we get back for the next hearing?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Franklin, anything else, ma'am?
No, there's nothing else.
All right, Ms. Taylor, anything else, ma'am?
Yes, your judge, the issue of non-disclosure. Do you want to
For
reserve?
right now, I'll go with it, but that's held in advance to final order of what we'll do on that circumstance, all right?
Wait, I'm sorry. Okay, you're reserving it? And
Right,
then
but for right now, non-disclosure, there's gonna be there's not gonna be any disclosure of information at this time. Thank you.
Okay, for both parties or just for mother?
Dad says it's okay with him, but just for mother,
Okay.
man.
All right, and then Judge, I do have a date for August 15th on
All right.
Zoom.
All right,
Well, Judge,
Ms. Kuzak's already gonna be here on that date.
Judge, could I address that actually? One of the concerns I had was that we had both of them on phone. And earlier today, I did have problems. I realized it was the weather too, of them dropping out, dropping, their calls were dropped. So I didn't know, because of the documentation that Mr. Thompson has to provide, if it would be easier for the court to have them come in person, or if maybe I assume maybe the attorney ad litem can handle most of this. So does the court want to leave them on Zoom?
All right, for right now, let's go ahead and leave them on Zoom and see if the attorney ad litem needs them. If the attorney ad litem needs them to come in, then we obviously can get them in on the first Wednesday of the month in September. If that is that September? I mean that August 15th date. That's a regular docket. That's a regular Zoom docket, right?
Yes, it's a regular Zoom.
And is that on a okay? And is that on a Wednesday or?
I'm not sure. Let me look.
What?
It's
One
on
question.
Thursday. That works for Ms. Kuzak.
It's
Okay.
a Thursday.
Yeah, I see it. Ms. Kuzak can be here on Thursdays. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Judge, one more thing, just to put on the record, both of the parties are in agreement that the state will be able to provide their information to the attorney ad litem.
Right. Okay, I'll let them confirm that. But Mr. Franklin, you had something else you were asking, but the state needs to know it's okay to give the lawyer representing your children your contact information at this time. Is that okay, Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Is
That's
that okay,
fine.
Mr.
That's what I
Franklin?
was about to ask.
Okay, so it's okay for the state to give her that information, correct, sir?
Yes, I was concerned on how are they going to contact, email, mail, or phone.
All right, well, the state's going to give her both your phone numbers and your email addresses, sir, so she can contact you by either method. And her information will be in the order, so you can also try to contact her. All right?
Okay.
All right, so at this time, Mr. Thompson, anything else you request? Are you asking? You have a question about, sir?
No, it's not.
All right, Ms. Franklin, anything else, ma'am?
Nope, that'll be it. Thank you.
All right, see if y'all can get a spot with a Wi-Fi connection on that date. That way it usually works better. I said usually right now that I'm on Wi-Fi and it's not working worth a darn. So sometimes it happens. So
Can I ask a question quickly? I was on for the video, but I couldn't get my mic to work. That's why I called in.
okay, not a problem, ma'am. Again, get a smart device, whatever works. But I don't mind telephones, but I definitely need a good connection. So anything else though?
That'll be it.
Anything else, Ms. Franklin?
Nope, that'll be it.
All right, Ms. Taylor, you got their permission to send Ms. Kuzak their data? Is there anything else the state needs on this one at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right, folks, the state's going to circulate an order to you. It's going to be a temporary order. When we come back, it may be a further temporary order, but in that further temporary order, I look at making some adjustments to possible child support and definitely some adjustments to visitation with the father. So at this time, I'll see everybody in August, and we're off the record. Thank you. Are the parties free to go at this time?
Yes, the parties can just hang up.
Okay, y'all can hang up at this time. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's the state's understanding that parties are in agreement for this to be a final order today. Specifically, parties are in agreement that acknowledgements of paternity were signed for both children who already have hyphenated names, Boatright-Ford. Parties will agree to be named joint managing conservators, the standard possession order, mother to be primary. Father is asking for a geographic restriction to Bell and contiguous counties. Mother was not wanting that. Mother will maintain medical, and cash medical in this case would be $262 based on the father's income. The issue, Your Honor, is the current child support we've calculated would be $1,350 with a step down to $1,080. Mother is not seeking retroactive support. And I believe that was everything, Your Honor.
All right, everybody, I'm gonna let the state call you both as witnesses, and like I said, the two issues seem to be geo restrictions and child support. I mean, and the child loss, geo restriction and child support. This deal, Ms. Boatright, is considered to be in the best interest of your children that both parties be active in their upbringing. And so long as everybody still lives in Bell County, that's why the law makes it possible for the court to go ahead and order that geo restrictions are in your case. And I'm supposed to do them unless there's a good reason not to, or something that is a little bit out of the ordinary. So again, I'll let you tell the court why you feel like that. Because the bottom line is a geo restriction is technically can be a temporary thing. Upon ensuring of good cause, if you show me something like the bottom line is you want to move because you got into Harvard Med, I'm going to let you go to Harvard Med, okay? But the bottom line is parents need to be with their kids, and so it's generally more important for that to be above and beyond anything else. So that's what I'm looking at. And again, Mr. Ford, I'll be looking at what the guideline child support is for someone who earns what you earn. And if you want me to order something differently than what the state's requesting, sir, you'll have to give me a legal reason not to order that, sir. So at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and let the state call you as witnesses, and then at the end of the hearing again, both of you will be allowed to make closing statements or arguments. You may proceed at this time, Ms. Mongat, after I swear everybody in. So, Ms. Boatright, Mr. Ford, please raise your right hands. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're gonna give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you?
I do.
All right, okay, you're both under oath. Ms. Boatright, sounds like you said I do. Can you say I do again, please?
I do.
All right, you're under oath now. Thank you. I heard it that time. All right, Ms. Bongat, go ahead and call them as witnesses. And like I said at the end, I'll let them both come back and tell me what else, anything else. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state first calls Ms. Boatright. Ma'am, what is your full name?
Eli Boatright.
Who are the children in this case?
Onyx Boatright Ford and Luna Boatright Ford.
How are you related to them?
Yeah, I'm their mother.
Is it correct, ma'am, that you and Mr. Ford signed the acknowledgements of paternity for each of the children, admitting you are their parents?
Yeah.
And were you able to hear my opening statement to the court regarding your agreements and the two disagreed issues?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that an accurate statement, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have no problem being named a joint managing conservator with Mr. Ford, so you and he have most of the same rights to the children?
Yeah. No
and
problem.
then you would be primary, able to decide where the children live. Your disagreement then would be as far as being restricted to Bell County and surrounding counties.
Correct.
We'll get back to that in a moment, ma'am. But then as far as health coverage for your children, what is that currently?
I have them both approved for Medicaid, and I don't care if, you know, if Rodney wants to put them on through his benefits, TRICARE, or do the cash. I don't, but they are approved for Medicaid.
And ma'am, do you know whether anything is available through Mr. Ford at this time?
I'm not for sure. I know they had spoke about wanting to try to get the kids onto some, you know, sort of military or TRICARE, but that's never gone forward. So.
Okay. And then, ma'am, were you made aware of the state calculating support based on Mr. Ford's two sources of income and no other children besides these two? And so the amounts for medical support of $262 and then current support of $1,350 with a step down to $1,080, all of that worked for you?
Yeah.
And you were not asking for any back child support just going forward starting July 1st?
Correct. He's been, you know, able to help me and here and there with a little bit of bills, so I don't want to go back on it.
Yes, ma'am. And then as far as visitation goes, you are asking that the standard possession order be in place whenever you and Mr. Ford can't agree about visitation with the children?
Correct.
All right, ma'am. So looking at the Bell County and surrounding counties, at this time, you and he are both within Bell County, correct?
We both live in Killeen.
Okay. Do you have any plans to move in the near future?
I am in school right now and I finished my associates after the fall, and I was hoping to maybe go on to chiropractic school in San Antonio or Louisiana, but nothing's set in stone. I also have a chronically ill mother that lives in Oklahoma, and so those have been potential places to move, me and the kids, either Oklahoma City or for school. But like I said, nothing is set in stone. I still have to finish school, and I'm in my lease here until September. So.
Okay. And then, ma'am, if Mr. Ford were to move out of the immediate area, would you want the geographic restriction, if granted by the court, to lift as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't I want him to have a relationship with his kids, but I told him from the beginning I don't want to stay in Bell County. So if he is not here, I definitely would leave. But no matter where I go, like, he's gonna have access to his children.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am, you wanted the court to consider at this time?
No.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor, I pass this witness.
All right, go ahead and call your next witness, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Rodney Ford. Sir, what is your full name?
Rodney Kent Ford Jr.
Sir, is it correct that you're the biological father of Onyx and Luna?
I am.
And sir, were you able to hear my opening statement to the court?
Yes.
Was that an accurate description of you and Ms. Boatright being in agreement with all but the two issues of geographic restriction and whether guideline support is appropriate?
Yeah. But I don't want her to be the only one to make decisions for our kids on where they live.
Okay, here's the deal, sir. The state's requesting right now that you're requesting the geo restriction, so I'm the one making the decision on where the children will live. And right now, the family code says that I can let her live anywhere she wants to, because the kids are with her, or I can go ahead and make her live or restrict her to Bell or any county that touches Bell County. So for right now, that's the circumstance, sir. She's the joint managing conservator with the right to side domicile. The kids are going to live with her. And now the court gets to make a decision on whether or not to allow her to live anywhere she wishes to, or to allow her to only live in a certain area. So those are technically the choices, sir. Thank you.
And why is this?
Because the Texas Family Code said so, and that's the laws and that's the statutes that have been enacted by the Texas legislature. And that's just the way it is. It's the same reason the speed limit is 75 in some spots, 65 on some. It's because the law says so, sir.
So is it because that she has custody of the kids right now?
Yes, sir. I'm getting ready to give her custody. That was the state just said that custody was not an issue. That you were agreeing to something else. Now you're telling the court something else at this time, sir?
Yeah. Yes, sir. So if it's a 50-50 custody.
There's no 50-50 in Texas, sir. Again, I get that all the time. Texas doesn't have 50-50. Texas doesn't have split custody. Texas has joint managing conservatorship with the right to decide domicile. Texas has managing conservatorship with the right to decide domicile. I know you're not a lawyer, but you got to come up to speed on that very rapidly, because those are my options, sir. So if you're asking the court for custody, then I'm going to make this a temporary order, and I'm going to let you go out and hire a lawyer and try to come back and see what you want, sir. But at this point, again, those are my options. Whoever the children live with get the right to live where they need to or want to, whether it's restricted to Bell or a county that touches Bell, or live anywhere they wish, or I could even do it further out. Sometimes I make it as far as Houston or Dallas. But that's left up again. That's within the boundaries of what the court can do as far as conservatorship is concerned, sir. So if you're going to ask for custody, then we're going to go ahead and proceed as this is a temporary order. But I'm going to go ahead and let you make give you the opportunity to think about it and see what you want to do, sir. But at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and let the state proceed with questionings. So at this time, Ms. Mongat, go ahead. I'm sorry, are you, Terry, sir, are you currently in the United States military?
No, I'm a veteran.
All right, thank you. You may proceed, Ms. Mongat.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ford, so as far as the geographic restriction, you were wanting Ms. Boatright's restricted to Bell County and the counties that touch it?
Right.
Do you have any plans to move from your current residence, sir?
No.
Were you able to hear her testimony regarding the 3 places she was considering moving after she finishes her associate's degree?
I did hear it.
And would all of those be too far, sir, as far as what you're wanting?
I mean, I would like to just be able to drive over to see them, because I see them basically every day right now. I want to be an active parent in their life. I am a
And sorry, sir, I don't mean to cut you off, but the answer is yes, then, since you want to be able to drive and see them every day.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the issue of the child support. Is it correct, sir, that you have 2 sources of income, one of which is non-taxable?
Yes.
And then as far as other children to consider, you only have the 2 children with Miss Boatright?
Yes.
And so, sir, you had the opportunity to hear me announce the medical amount and then the 2 child support amounts, one being a step down when only one of your children is still a minor, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any source of health insurance for the children so you don't have to pay that cash medical amount?
I do not right now. The only reason why I don't is because I do not have their birth certificates. So I didn't have TRICARE for a while because I am a combat veteran, 100%. And so I get free healthcare from the VA system. But after having the kids, I did enroll in TRICARE to get my foot in the door so I wouldn't miss open season, as they call it. So I got my foot in the door, and so all I'm doing is waiting for the birth certificate so I can put them under my benefits.
Okay, perfect, sir. And do you see any reason that you won't get the necessary documentation?
No, I don't see no reason why I wouldn't. But again, I just need those that document or the documents, the birth certificates, and that'd be the only thing completing my my application for benefits from TRICARE.
And sir, were your children born in Bell County?
One was born in Gatesville. I think that's Coryell. Yeah, so one was in Bell and one was in Coryell.
Okay. And then, sir, with regard to what's available to you, you said you've currently enrolled in TRICARE. Do you know if you'd be eligible for CHAMP VA since you're 100%?
Yes. I believe I am, but I did look into that, and I just didn't get no results on that.
Okay.
It's my God, I prefer TRICARE over CHAMP VA, so I would be looking at TRICARE, and I'm not sure whether or not Mr. Ford would have pay any on that TRICARE because it's he's not military retired. It's different. My TRICARE was always based on military retirement of my father. So
I am
bottom line is,
military
we're looking, I'm
retired.
probably looking at making this a temporary order till he can get that data, confirm what it's going to cost. But obviously, I'm looking at going ahead at this point and ordering him to pay to go ahead and get the children on TRICARE. Ma'am, the insurance you have is Medicaid, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So again, that's state insurance. You keep them on Medicaid. You can overlap, whatever. But I'm looking at ordering Dad, instead of paying cash medical, to pay TRICARE, to go ahead and try to get TRICARE. But for right now, until we get TRICARE in a temporary order, I will order him to pay temporary cash medical. But when we come back to final, I'll be looking at making that 100% TRICARE and just child support going forward. So I'm sorry, this is not the last hearing you're going to have, but I want to try to uncomplicate some of this at the last hearing. So you may proceed, Ms. Margaret. Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Your Honor.
I am medically retired.
Yes, sir. So.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. So as far as the health part, you understand what Judge was saying. For these temporary
Yes.
orders, you pay the cash medical, and hopefully when you come back, the children are enrolled. We know what your premium, if anything, will be.
Yes. I don't know what the premium is. I think I know what it is for me. It's $90, but having dependents, it will jump it up to about 200, I believe. So
Yes, sir. And we'll look for the documentation at or prior to that final hearing.
Okay.
And so, sir, that leaves us with the child support issue. What amount were you wanting to pay rather than the current amount of $1,350?
I can do 500, and it's only because before we got together, I have, I pay bills, I pay my mortgage, I have other bills, my vehicle. So if I pay the 1,300 or even 1,000 right now, I would be in a financial bind. I'd be out of a house, I'd be out of a vehicle. I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. So I know the 100% I can pay, even temporarily, would be 500. I just don't want to put myself in a financial bind where I don't have a home, I don't have a vehicle, I can't pay my bills, and I wouldn't be able to get to work. I'd be spending more money on Uber or getting a ride than what I make. So yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make myself have a net so I can provide. I mean, right now, even I give her money for the vehicle that we bought, $250 a month. And there was a period where I did pause on that because I didn't know if she was going to keep the vehicle or not. But I continue right now to give her money for the vehicle. I help her out around the house. Anytime she needs me with the kids, I'm there. If I'm not at work, I pay for Pampers, wipes, and anything the kids need. So,
and Mr. Ford, all of those things, would they equal the $850 that wouldn't be in child support since you're wanting to pay 500?
I don't know right offhand. So 250 definitely. Like me working around the house, like cutting the grass, and I've done that since she's lived on her own in last July, so about a year. Because I don't have a lot of money. Like I said, my bills are caught up with my VA, as far as mortgage, light bill, water bill, my vehicle.
And then, Mr. Ford, all of these things you're listing as your expenses, are
Right.
they anything out of the ordinary that Ms. Boatright wouldn't also be responsible for, or any other parent who is in court today?
As in,
Is there anything unusual, sir? That's strictly you, not every other person walking in or coming into this Zoom meeting.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay. Your Honor, I pass this witness.
All right, here's the problem, Mr. Ford. I'm locked in what the Texas legislature says I'm supposed to do. You got 2 children, none anywhere else. Legislature says your child support obligation should be 25% of your net income. The state is calculated at $1,350. I can deviate some, but I can't deviate a lot. The law is, I understand you got bills. That's why that's why I said from the very beginning of this morning, it's going to be tough, but however you got to do it, you have to see about doing it, sir. If you got to go on post or go to a VA sanctioned financial advisor to try to figure this out, you need to do so. But she's entitled to get that much money from you. Everybody else in the state of Texas who made as much as you do today, they walked in court to get child support. It got ordered at $1,350 a month, and I just cannot not do that because of the financial strain they'll put on you. You got to give me something a little bit more than that, sir. Again, I can deviate some, but I can't deviate a lot. One lady today agreed to 10% difference under your scenario. That's only $135. So obviously, again, that's not much. But the bottom line is, sir, that's what the law requires. And if you need, and lawyers are more expensive than $135 a month, believe me. So here's the deal, sir. For me not to order something close to what that child support amount is, I've got to make a legal ruling while I'm doing so, sir. And right now, I hadn't heard enough that's going to get me there.
So y'all would rather have me struggle on my payments, yeah, and then be owe back, because I know I can't make that. I know, but I am willing to make payments.
Here's the deal,
right?
sir. The state of Texas says your payments have to be a specific amount, sir. Not what you think is fair, but what the law requires.
I'm not saying what I think is fair. I'm telling you, I am trying to make it where we can all, where I am paying, where I'm not neglecting my kids or my payment, to where it's not hurting me financially.
Hey, Mr. Ford, I've got to rule, and the rules, I'm looking at ruling and what the law requires me to do. Do you need the opportunity to go out and seek legal counsel, sir? But I'm not going to argue with you anymore. Do you want the opportunity to talk to a lawyer, sir?
I'm not going to argue with you either, sir. I'm just letting you know. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to listen to you.
Okay, here's the deal, sir. Do you want time to go out and talk to your own lawyer, sir?
No, I just need time so I can accrue this money, so I won't be in the rear once it starts.
I don't know if I can speak. I don't want him to be in a bad position.
I'm trying to help out as much as I can. You know, I'm taking care of my kids without the court right now. I'm taking care of.
Okay, stop.
I'm helping.
Stop, both of you. Stop. Again, this gets into getting this nowhere. Here's the deal, folks. I'm going to go ahead and reset this for a final hearing. And Mr. Ford, either get a lawyer or I got to stop it. Again, sir, you're arguing me to break the law. That's what you're arguing me to do, sir. That's what you're actually telling me to do. Judge, I want you to order amount of child support that's against what the law says you're supposed to order. That's what you're telling me to do, sir. That's what you're asking me to do. You understand that? That's what you're asking me to do, sir. You're asking the judge to break what the law is. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, the only thing I can tell you, sir, you can get the opportunity to go out and talk to your own lawyer to see whether or not there's something the court can take into consideration that you didn't bring up. Otherwise, I've got to look at giving mom somewhere between $1,000 and $1,300 at a minimum, sir. And I can make it a temporary order. We can come back after you have a chance to talk to a lawyer. But lawyers cost a lot more than $1,000 a month, sir. So again, you can't. I cannot make a ruling against what the law is, sir.
Okay, so like I'm helping with the vehicle, right?
Sir, here's the
That-
deal. Okay.
Wait,
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
so I'm helping with this vehicle and it's under my credit, right? And there's times when she can't pay. So I'm helping because it hits my credit.
I can't pay because I had to move in and sign this lease on my own with no
Right.
job
Okay.
And I'm
two
helping.
kids.
Here's the deal. Stop. Sir, if it's your car, you can always ask for it back, but or get it back. But the bottom line is, sir, I'm supposed to order child support a certain amount. She can go buy her own car with the money. You know, the folks got to. You have to live. You got to live by the budget of the what you got as far as income is concerned. And no matter what you got going out at a third party, you can stop paying on the car, sir. You can stop doing that. But the line is, I'm supposed to order a certain amount of child support. And again, this has gone on for the last 10 minutes. We tell you this, and you don't want to go get a lawyer. I'm stuck here. I'm stuck at ordering what the law requires me to do, sir. So, is there anything else then, Mr. Ford?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Ford, are you asking for more time? Do you want me to? You want to make this a temporary order, and y'all come back after you've had a chance to at least talk to someone, sir, or find out more information?
I can't afford it. I can't afford it.
Okay.
I can't afford a lawyer. If all right. No, we're good.
All right, do you want this to be a final order, sir, or do you want to come, you want to make this attempt and get and think about it some more, sir?
What is the difference? What is if it's
If
a
I make an
10?
attempt, that means we're going to come back in about a month where we can finalize this one way or the other, but it'll give you the chance to do your budget and come back and tell the court that there's some special circumstance I should consider in deviating from the child support. Right now, you're coming in here cold. You don't have the necessary information for me to do so. This will give you a chance to at least go on the internet and try to figure something out. Stuff on the internet's not great, but at least you may find something. But the bottom line is, if I do it as a final, it's locked in. 30 days from now, you cannot undo it. If I do it as a temp, we come back in 30 days, come up with a final order, and that doesn't become final for another 30 days. So what are you asking me to do here today, Mr. Ford? Make an attempt or make this a final order?
Make an attempt.
All right, then. All right, here's what I'm going to do as a temp, sir. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to go ahead and name you both temporary joint managed conservators. I'm going to give mom the right to decide domicile. For the temp, ma'am, I'm going to go ahead and keep that to bail in contiguous counties because we're going to come back sometime in either, well, probably won't be about the 1st of August. I'm going to go ahead and order that temporary child support be ordered in the amount of $800 a month, starting the 1st day of July. I know, sir, that's still a lot of money, but it's still $600. It's $500 cheaper than what I'm supposed to order. $550 I'm supposed to order. But I will look at making that. We'll have to look at making the full amount child support ordered starting when we come back. So I'm looking at coming back in one of the first 2 weeks of August and finalizing this one way or the other. But it's give you the opportunity to go ahead and see what you can find out, sir, as far as making any type of legal argument, or at least go to some type of financial planner. Either on post or through the VA, or because I know those are out there. I haven't had to look for one in years for clients, but I knew there are resources out there that you may be able to come in with to help you get your finances in a row. But again, sir, that's what I'm looking at doing. I'm looking at doing a reset in on the general docket. Do I want to make this on a general or a special setting? Okay. I'm going to look at a general docket for now because I'm not going to point it at light of this. I don't think it's necessary at this point.
Yes,
okay, so I'm going to look at bringing you folks back on Tuesday, August the 13th for a final hearing. At that time, sir, I'm going to be looking at ordering child support closer to the amount that it should be ordered, unless you can show me some reason to deviate. And like I said in my morning speech, it's not even a reason to deviate if mom agrees to it. Like you heard the last case, I gave the children a lawyer. If I was to do that in this case, the children's lawyer would have to be in agreement with any type of deviation. You never are able to talk a lawyer out of his client or her client getting money, okay? That's just the way it is. And that's the standard of proof you're looking at. So again, Mr. Ford, I don't want to shaft you. I don't want to put you in financial ruin, but you've got to start, you got to go out and figure out how you're going to make this work one way or the other, sir, based on what the law says I'm supposed to do. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and make this a temp order. Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and by then, sir, ma'am, do you have copies of the birth certificate? Birth certificates?
I have during the move, my son's birth certificate, I think, got left behind at Rodney's house. I believe it's in the kid's closet. But I do have our daughter's birth certificate with me, and I believe both of their social security cards.
Okay, then. All right, sir. Well, with the court order, sir, you'll be able to get a copy of your children's birth certificate. Both of them one's born in Coryell, one's born in Bell. So with this court order, you should be able to get a copy of the birth certificates and start and looking at getting the children on whatever you on your TRICARE at that time, sir. And that way, at least you get out. You won't be able to pay cash medical. You'll only be able to keep the kids on TRICARE going forward. So at this time. So again, ma'am, if you can find one of those, the one birth certificate, go ahead and see if you can get it to dad. And sir, with this court order, you should be able to go to any county clerk's office and put it in a request to get your child's or children's birth certificate. Okay.
Is it the county that they're born in, or any county clerk?
Technically, sir, you could probably do it online and do it for any county, but it's probably easier to go to the county that they were actually born in.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, sir, which county do you live in, sir, or city?
We're both in Killeen.
Okay, so you're both here in Bell. All right, thank you. All right, so obviously one's going to be in Bell, the clerk's office in Belton. The other one's going to be at the clerk's office in Gatesville. And they may actually have copies there, but they may have to send off from the state to get them. So you can go online and try to figure that out if you need to, sir. So at this time, Mr. Ford, any other questions, anything else before we come back on the August date, sir?
No, sir.
All right. How about you, Ms. Boatright?
No, sir.
All right. Again, folks, I'm holding advance dealing with the child support when we come back, and we'll figure all that out in full. Ms. Bongat, anything else you need as far as the temporary order is concerned, ma'am?
Your Honor, you said that you were ordering mother to maintain government medical and keeping the full medical support amount as well as the child support that you had deviated down.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and order. What's the cash medical amount that you was requesting?
$262.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and lower that down to $162 for right
Yes,
now.
Your Honor.
I'm not going to get rid of it, but sir, if again, that's for 2 months. Get the TRICARE set up and everything, and I'll kick that off. That'll go bye. Okay.
Yes, sir. As I said before, I'm willing to do anything for the kids and to help Haley as much as I can. But I don't want to put myself in a financial burden, because then I won't be able to.
All right, again, sir. Again, I've got to follow what the law says I'm supposed to do. So again, if you want to go ahead and do I'm not sure if lawyers do free consults anymore, but you can find a lawyer to talk to you for free based on their webpage or something like that. You might want to go ahead and talk to them and find out what your rights are, sir. But again, you let them know that the judge is looking at ordering you to pay guideline child support, and they'll go over that with you. So again, you might need to hear it from a lawyer, but that's left up to you, sir. Anyway, but go ahead and get the TRICARE set up. That's what I go with. I had TRICARE to my last year of law school, so I know it worked that long.
Okay.
So, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set the temporary child support at that amount, sir. But again, when we come back for final hearing, I'm looking at having to raise it to the full amount, sir. So be ready to rock and roll. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Boatright, is there anything else you want to tell me at this time, ma'am? Anything else you have?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, man. I hate to make you folks come back, but obviously this is a financial slam that he wasn't looking at coming forward. But again, it's something I have to look at doing, and I'll go ahead and set this up for that August the 13th date. Is there anything else at this time, Ms. Bongat, you need a specific ruling on as far as the temp's concerned?
No, Your Honor.
All right, see everybody on the 13th. Let's see if we can get something worked out on this. We're off the record. Thank you.
Yes, sir.